Welcome back. Oh, hey, look, it's the FIDE Social Chess Day Marathon on leechess.org. So, this is a collaboration between FIDE and Leechess to bring to you this 24-hour special marathon event. Random prizes, including flights and accommodation to the Olympiad, will be distributed, amongst others. So, huh, you think I'm going to make it to the Olympiad? I don't know. Still, it's fun to see this collaboration be possible. FIDE being the international chess body that many love and many don't love, but
10,
we're
9,
just here for chess
8,
today.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1,
Good luck, everyone.
0.
Here we go. Here's game one. I'm playing with the mode where player ratings are hidden. I could play in full Zen mode, but that's less of an exciting experience for you, the viewer, so I'm just going to keep things this way. My opponent is playing fairly quickly, so I'm concerned that I have a strong opponent, at least until they prove otherwise. Now, moving quickly, if you do it every move, isn't necessarily a sign of strength. Like, it's either a sign of extreme strength or a sign of naivety. And so my opponent is not doing this every move. They have enough common sense to recognize that chess is a thinking game. But yeah, am I going to play all 24 hours? Stay tuned. Or if you can see the video length, you can figure out like what happened there. So, well, I'm going to defend my pawn and attack this bishop, and we'll see what the opponent comes up with. Likely they take my bishop, and I don't get my way, do I? Nope. Fine, we'll take this instead. This is a game with increment, by the way, so it's a bit silly to play moves instantaneously. There's very limited advantage to doing that. However, this event is not a Swiss event. Nope. This is using Lichess's arena pairing format that allows for quicker pairings. I still contend that I think for serious, extremely competitive events, Swiss still seems the way to go. But for our fun chess day, this is more than good enough. Alright, so if I duck my king out of the way, I can push c5. Let's get the rook over and make this pretty clear what I'm up to. Well, since we both have all the time... actually, I don't have all the time in the world. They're going to play knight b3 next. So, since I'm not getting my way, I'm going to go back and find another way. And it's going to be fun. If pawn a3, I get a knight. If they don't do pawn a3, I could play b6 and stuff. I think my knight is better than their knight. Hmm. So, yep, they finally moved to hit my queen. And then if this knight moves, I could maybe win this. But even if it doesn't move, this position's fine. My bishop is looking at this castle. I'm able to bring more pressure on this position. Where's this knight going? I don't understand. Well, okay then. Oh, they're gonna play a4. I thought I could play queen takes a4. I see a slight problem with queen takes a4 now. So we're gonna pick a different move and pretend that I saw this the whole time. Yep, I've got tons of foresight. That said, this could be far worse than it is. They could take a6 and go back, or they could play knight d3 and go forward. It's 6 one way, half dozen the other. The a-pawn's going to drop. I'm going to get an attack on that side of the board, and probably get both my rooks into the attack, along with my knight, which is already attacking. That's why I anchored the knight here, instead of trying to do something, I don't know. I don't need an immediate tactical shot to win this. Positionally, it favors black. I am curious who's going to play this particular arena for the longest, and how long they're going to play for. Uh, that'll be fun to find out, I guess, at the conclusion of the event. Well, hopefully somebody will have kept track of it. I expect that even though this event, I don't know that it was heavily advertised, um, hopefully upon its conclusion, a lot of people, streamers and other folks, will be much more aware of it. If I take that, I'm not, nah, I don't need that. I'm just gonna sidestep that for now. Both knights are loose. B3 is possible. B3, I'd retreat the knight. B4, I advance the knight. Um, I don't know that I have anything better to do here. So we'll just do that. Like, what are they gonna do? They're having to stop and think every bit as much as I am. Which says that I'm not trying to dirty flag them, just because I'm playing a bunch of dirty flag moves. um, hmm, okay. There's potentially a fork on c6 now. But on the bright side, um, once I move my knight, I'm actually threatening to take this. That said, if they play knight b4, okay, yeah, they're not doing that. So I plant my knight. I'm still threatening to take this, or if this moves, threatening to take the other knight. So it's possible to have a dirty flag strategy even if you're spending time on the clock. If you just like play moves that, I don't know. Interesting. Well, let's play the fun move now and not overthink it. Yeah, my opponent's got an amazing initiative here, but oh wow. I've seen worse. Okay. I've now reclaimed some squares. Um, and some more squares. But they still attack a lot of squares. Can I go king b6? Does that just win? That looks pretty just winning. Yeah, I think I can afford this. If a5, I take the pawn. And unless I've missed some parting shot, then I've got this. Their king is caught up in this mix, too. It's not just my king. So I remove that so there's no mate in one. Hmm. Yeah, we're gonna aim for a cross check. If queen a4, queen b5 is check. I don't know that I even need to do that, but it's winning. This is also winning. All right. Woo! A 63rd, 64th place. That's not improving. There's no way I can sustain that. FIDE is co-sponsoring the event, is that right? Hmm. What's this in a hyperlink for anyway? This special marathon. I guess there must have been a blog post about it. I just missed it. Hopefully you all know more about it than I do. Today's shogi proverb is that in a slow game, the bishop has the leading role. But that applies better to shogi than it does to chess. In chess, you have a ton of crazy, stupid, powerful pieces. In shogi, you get one rook, one bishop, one beer. Um, maybe not a beer. But yeah, in shogi, there's very limited firepower, but the pieces keep coming back. So it's a different dynamic than chess, where you start chess with a ton of really powerful pieces on this small board, and quickly many of them disappear. So this is fun. Um, yeah, I was thinking if knight a5, either I retreat or I play queen a4. But don't have to worry about that, because it didn't happen. If this queen suddenly no longer defends the rook, I have other moves too. Okay. Do you suppose that taxi driver is playing while driving a taxi? Wouldn't that be an experience? That feels like that could be a game. Not in real life, of course, but a computer game, video game sort of experience. Or you have to, like, at one point I was considering live streaming, playing one of those truck sim games and playing chess at the same time. I just could not get the tech working, but it would have been hilarious if I could have. All right, take one of those. And one of these too. Those are pretty nice too. Okay, I think I'm winning. Back to tournament. Ooh, I'm in 23rd place in the whole world. I'm winning this FIDE event. At least until the Grandmasters and other... Well, wait, there were some title players who joined. Where'd they go? Are they going to come back during European hours? Because, like, this is midnight. This event started at midnight UTC, and it's going to be running for 24 hours. And probably most Grandmasters are not in America, but probably elsewhere, where there's just many more opportunities to do chess things, or serious chess competitions. This happened a lot in Europe and elsewhere, and not so much, well, in the US. Though, US is trying to change that one step at a time. There was a master who was at our chess club Friday night, and everybody at the club wanted me to play them, so I did. It was a valuable experience. But yeah, I'm not a chess master, so I was not able to win the game. I did draw one game, and then I lost the second game. I fought like hell both games, but it was no match. Both games were extremely sharp. Both games I got a material disadvantage and had to attack as fiercely as I could to try to find compensation. But ultimately, in both games, my attacks did not prevail. The first game, it was enough to, again, to obtain a draw, which is okay. I should be quite happy with that. But yeah, I'm no chess master. I can still make people think a lot, but that's different. Okay, so I was considering this. This looks fun. You know what looks the most fun about this? If they open up the whole position and then I do this, and I'm threatening mate, that looks fun. Bishop's trapped. Alright, let's take it. Woo! I'm number 6 in the world. Yay me. Although I see, like, Jeff Forever, who writes many interesting blog posts on Lichess, is playing one of our top games in this event. He must have started late. He's only got hundreds of rating points on me. Although on this site, it's not quite so bad. But yeah, to get FIDE Master, I forget, was it 23 or 2400 FIDE? Some big old number that is way out there. Yeah, here we go. Endgame 101 Mastery. I wonder if they've read any of my endgame blog posts. We'll find out. Or will we? Hey look, we got an accusation in this chat room about cheating. We're not that far into the event yet. Delightful. Okay, let's just attack. Who needs material? Um, hmm, whatever. We'll let you castle this time, because I'm feeling generous. Hmm. Do you suppose we're actually going to make it to an endgame and I'm going to get crushed by this endgame 101 mastery person? Then I'll have to write a blog post about it. That would be unfortunate. It could well happen. I'm not banking on it just yet, but I can't rule it out. I could have done knight d5. They have queen d8. Yeah, it's not interest. I was more interested in castling than in trying to spring some kind of surprise there. So put the rook on the open file. Hmm. Open the back rank just in case. Um, hmm. 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 Um, as you wish. You've been planning queen d8 the whole time. Fine. You get to play queen d8. I get space on the queen side. So now the queen cuts between the rooks. Yeah, they have the bishop pair, and they're threatening to exchange knights. Whatever. Um, maybe they have other threats too. My knight looks beautiful on d5, but it's not helping anything. So we're just going to back up. This unleashes the d file, and if they exchange on f3, I get a tempo. Um, this is a different way that I get a tempo. Granted, they threaten e5, but I'm threatening this pawn. I guess they have bishop e4. They didn't play it. Maybe they didn't even see it. I didn't see it until I mentioned it. Um, this looks fun. I'm just trying to cause a little bit of chaos. But yeah, the A pawn is hanging. So we'll see if I end up losing my knight or something doing this. But the A pawn is hanging. This bishop doesn't have a lot of spaces to go to. Um, defend my king a little bit. In a slow game, the bishop has the leading role. So I get to do that fork I was talking about. Can I? No, I can't take that. Um, this is fine. This looks okay. It might be fatal and I'm just missing it, but it looks okay. Yeah, they take my pawn. Um, I have to defend this way, or rather, I don't have to, but um, if I want to try to play bishop f3, this is the way to try to play bishop f3. My opponent's going to play knight h4 anyway. They didn't. Um, hmm. Man, what a fun position. Okay, this is my kind of position, isn't it? Um, I defend my king. Uh, well, okay. That's a fork. That's me taking a rook. Not sure what more there is to say about that. Put this bishop on an open line. I should bring out my rook if my king's not getting mated. It's a big if. Big, big if. I think it's fine. I'm not sure. Let's go here first. Before the end game, the gods have placed the middle game. So I activate the rook. Let's check. Let's also check. X for the game. 4th place in the world. I'm doing okay. Um, hmm. There's a chance I might get some really strong pairings in just a second here. But for now, I don't know. My pairings seem to have been okay. Number 1 and number 2 are facing off in this game that's showing. Well, that's weird. They were 1 and 2, regardless of what their ranks are at this instant. Yeah, the numbers change, the screen refreshes. I'll have to bring my A game for this. FIDE Masters are no joke. FIDE Masters are quite strong. Thankfully, I've studied this one, but yeah, it's going to be awfully difficult to best a FIDE Master at Blitz. I don't know they have time for c5, bishop b7. Okay. Yeah, this is not good. I'm already in trouble. I should have played h5. We'll get that in right now. But yeah, my position is slow. Um, I connect my rooks, but this is going to be rough. Oh, jeez. My bishop gets trapped if I'm careless here. I like have to play king d7, don't I? It's such a weird move. Wait, if I could king c8, if f4 I take this pawn. Um, I think tactic, like I have to defend this rook. To do that, the king has to move out of the way. So we end up playing this funky move. Uh, and my king escapes to the left side in one piece by a miracle. They're connecting their rooks. Do I play g5 here? It's a strange move, but no. It's completely unsound. We're backing up. I need to push on the queen side, but they keep threatening all these enormous game-winning tactics that I have to keep responding to. I can't just lose the game to a one-move tactic, so I'm left with this position, which sucks. Um, but what can you do? Now g5 maybe? Still looks like it's losing. Because they could play knight e4 and triple up on it. And strategically, it's not where I want pieces to go anyway. I've surrounded my dark squared bishop. Um, hmm. Hmm. I'm doing far better than I thought I could do here. Okay. Well, that's a strange move, but if it works, it works. Chess is based on tactics, and that is definitely tactical. Taking the e4 square. My pawn claims h6, so there's no pin here. They could play rook h7, but I don't think that does much. Yeah. I could get my bishop pinned if I do this, but again, I don't know that that changes much. We're gonna defend this simply. Then have to deal with this mess of an endgame. Um, so I've taken some light squares. I'm punching. Some of the punches are actually landing. If a4, I think I have to play a6. That's not a4. I could do c4. No. Now I can do c4. Whether or not I should is a different matter, but... Hmm. Ah, strange. Where's that going? So... I would like to invade with the king, but they play king f3, and that shuts down my invasion. So instead my bishop is going to be the piece invading here. Knight c3 cancels my attack. They didn't play knight c3. All right. That knight can dance a lot. Oh, thank you. I'll need it. Um, hmm. So, oh, yes. Sorry, I wasn't looking at the username. Welcome, Taha. Yeah. Yep. Let's see. Jeez. This looks fine. I've probably missed some key tactic here, but whatever. Hmm. E6 is clever. Not sure it's enough to win. Well, no, my king can invade. I have better moves. Okay, sure. Well, I talked up FIDE Masters being quite strong opponents, and they are. They definitely are. Uh, oh, wait. I missed a key tactic. I can't just exchange bishops here because this pawn runs. Um, hmm. Yeah, thanks for the game. Alright, FIDE Master wins the game. What are the odds? How many more Masters will I be paired with, do you suppose? Um, dang it. Alright, we'll do our best. Yeah, I'm not the one who's got something to prove here. It's our master level opponents that have got pressure and reputation and the like. Um, so if I lose again and again and again, that's just expected to happen. If I win, so much the better. Well, I've bluffed my way into getting this pawn advanced. That's pretty cool. Hmm. I don't have a way to stop knight c4, do I? No, but I can remove it after it happens. So I defend my B pawn so I don't get mated. If they sack, I take it, and I could play knight B3 and weather the storm somehow. Um, Otherwise, this knight's... They're either going to exchange or move this, or maybe they want this me to take on C4, but why? Yeah, that's a cute move. I can't complain much about players playing cute moves when I'm doing the same thing. Um, so this is hanging if I just have time to take it. Um, hmm, could take it, but it's not worth taking. Instead, let me protect my king again. Alright, we'll just take the free pawn. And threatening to take the knight next. Even if the knight moves, we can trade off queens somehow, and I'm doing fine. Um, I don't have a better shot than that. Um, well, no. No, we're just going to take the shot that I have. Or to quote popular theater, I'm not throwing away my shot. Um, okay. I take the e3 square, pretend like I'm threatening to push something there, but really, I'm just taking space one square at a time. They can't evict my queen, so I can drop the queen back and play knight c5 next. So we drop back the queen. Might play... No, knight a5 leads to knight exchange. That's no good. Knight c5 takes more space and threatens checks that are... The opponent has to calculate everything. I just have to calculate that I'm not losing, while I make all these threats that I'm not necessarily tracking. Mm-hmm. Um, okay. I guess they could play a5. Well, if they play a5, I just take this pawn. So I get to make all the threats. I don't know where this knight goes next. This position would have been a lot easier if I just asked myself that earlier. But I can ask it now. Where's the knight going? I think the answer is that they play a5. I take here. What does... It's still a trap. It's funny. Um... Do I push e6 here? Because, like, nothing else works, so therefore e6 needs to work. Do I play a4? There's too many tactics. Okay, so I have to... No. Well, maybe. Well, that walks into a fork in one move. Um... Maybe. I don't know. I've created quite a mess of things. I think to survive I gotta have to retreat here. Because their pawns are threatening to hit my queen and my knight. Oh, yeah, your question doesn't rerouting this work better. Yeah, maybe I didn't need to push b3 right away. I don't think it spoils anything, but it's probably not helping either. I'm down a minute. Welcome to my world. Alright, if that works, uh, like that shouldn't work. Oh, there, I have a counter shot. So you take a pawn, I take a pawn, everybody takes a pawn. I now realize just how much danger I've created. Um, Probably should have looked for that earlier. Yep. Although, like, they don't have check. Without being able to check me, how much damage can they really do? Welcome. Um, all right, I'll take the file. I now see that I'm ranked 35 and they're ranked 28 globally, so they're having a better performance than I am in this event. Or they're just rated higher, or both. So I shouldn't be pushing them around, or attempting to. Um, it's more realistic for me to, um, I don't know. I'm not going to say play for a draw, because that inherently doesn't make sense. But just be careful about playing extremely aggressive things, because I can expect that those things are just never going to work. Wait a second. Um, there be tactics in this here position. So if they play rook c6, I can play rook b8, separating the king and rook. But if they don't do that, I might be able to exchange rooks, play f4, g3, and get a winning endgame. Alright, so they've released the pressure on c2. There's more pressure on c2 now. Can I do this? It's legal. It's not smart. Oh, geez. Yeah, no, that's... Ew. Alright, fine. We get to play an endgame now. Oh, crap. This endgame's no good. I thought I had chances here. The more I look at it, no. It's a matter of time. Um, Jeez. Check. This is, like, impossible to hold. Well, there is one trick. One pretty famous trick. And no, I don't mean stalemate. There's a king and a rook or a knight and a rook perpetual check. That's a pretty common pattern. Masters are familiar with it. Um, I might not have that here, though. Oh, this is crazy. They had a check. They could have moved the rook out of the way of this. Um, this is not the way to try to draw this. Thanks for the game. Yeah, it turns out I know how to win that one. Alright, so I'm still in the top 100 globally. I'm doing okay. I'm just going to mention that as many times as I can before like all the masters pop up and kick my butt. Um, yeah, maybe I should resolve to play this until I get kicked out of the top 100 rank, which might take some hours to happen. And it's going to be soul crushing when it does happen because the world has too many good players. Um, I wonder sometimes if the word cheat or cheating should be just flat out rejected by the server. Like you instantly get banned for using that word. I do wonder. Would the world be a more peaceful place for it? Hmm. I guess I don't need to belabor the point. Um, FIDE has also started to comment on such things, so um, what can I possibly say in comparison to what they say? Um, all right, so let's get my knight onto e6. Sure, it takes a few moves, but we'll get it there. Hmm. Wait. There's a lot of tactics here, but I think I'm fine. There's not a lot. There are some tactics here, and I'm overreacting to the fact that tactics are possible. Um, what would chess be without tactics? Who knows? Oh, you're gonna let me take this? Okay. I accept. Yeah, there's pressure here, but I'm okay. So I'm gonna have to reroute my knight again. There's a fun saying, if a knight is on f8, there's no checkmate. Well, at least on this square. Well, we got the knight on f8, so now we just have to defend for the next forever minutes until I can find a way to use my bishop effectively. Um, in blitz chess, having the knight as opposed to the bishop is quite useful. But, um, got what I've got. Can't change that now. I mean, I could take this knight. Am I feeling frisky? No. Um, so as long as there's not a knight c7 play that forks both of my rooks, and as long as there's not some shot that wins my queenside pawns, then I'm doing fine. You know that something like that's going to crop up sooner or later, but currently there's no such thing. Um, hmm. We're not going to set traps. We're just going to directly evict this knight, even though it does immediately blunt my bishop. Um, this is going to be tough. It's going to be so tough. If I can exchange both pairs of rooks, then it's still messy, but at least I'm not getting mated. Not dropping my queen. But yeah, if they play queen c3, I don't like this rook endgame. I can't avoid it. My rook's hanging. Okay. I have no idea how this is going to work, other than poorly. You're taking my queen. Don't pretend you're thinking about some other move. You're thinking about the move after you take my queen. Problem is, I'm thinking about the move after you're thinking about the move, etc. And you're trying to predict what it is that I'm going to play. Oh, I'm sorry, you disconnected? I don't like this. I shouldn't have this. Not this quickly. I could comment more. I will hold my comments later and reserve them for my Lee Chess vlog. or the forum or other communication. We're not going to get into that now. The fact that like my opponent disconnected in this equal position, then I almost instantly got presented with this option is just insulting to everyone. Um, I won't belabor the point. Um, so what else is there to consider? Like, as much as I do want to win this, I'm not going to call a draw. They do need to be here. Like, my plan is rook d8, rook d7, bring the king out, king e7. Um, soon enough, break with e5 if I can. Try to get my rook on the c file. Look for counterplay. The fact that I've got pawns on f6 and b6 makes it difficult for their knights to invade. Black is marginally better here. I'm not going to give away my win just because of a circumstance here. But also, I'm not going to claim victory. So, yeah, what's new? It's most unfortunate that this happens, but I don't know. Would rook d8 have made much difference? Oh, as opposed to like me playing f6 or e6 or something. Um, or if I'd not played rook c8 and I've been tried to like hold on to this. I think my opponent was threatening rook c7. And if they could get rook c7, they could play rook b7, queen c7, we exchange queens, the other rook to c7, and I lose my second rank. So as soon as they invade on c7, I have to open this position, try to activate my bishop, and hope I don't get mated thanks to my knight being back here. So yeah, I had to play actively. I had to contest the open file. There's not another way about this. f6, I'm not so sure about, but I'm playing to try to get one of two results, either a win or a loss. So that's why I played f6. This tournament format, if you get a win streak, gives you double points on the third and fourth and fifth and so forth win. So there's definitely incentive to try to push for a win every game. And so here we see a FIDE master that we played. More candidate masters and FIDE masters are in the list. And we're going to see more and more pop up the further we get into the Europe day. I usually play bishop g5 first, so I could snap the knight immediately. So queen takes c6, queen c7 to king f7. Oh, if I not exchange queens, if I just defend my queen. Yeah, maybe. Maybe that's the wiser course of action. Certainly, he who captures first loses ground. So there's a reason to consider that. I didn't think my pieces would be active enough there, but it looks better now that you mention it. Challenge is like if somehow like I get my queen skewered to my king, or some other tactic pops up with my queen and king in the same row. That's problematic. So I take here to create a pawn structure imbalance. And I'll stonewall it up. So my bishop's outside the pawn chain. It's fine that they're all in the same color square. Do, do, do. This gets tricky. I'll back up preemptively. If only because I can't make up my mind about Queen E1, Queen E2, Queen D2, A3. Trying to get my opponent to commit to what they're doing before I commit to something. Would be nice to play like a normal stonewall attack. I just don't know, like... The normal stonewall attack is looking better and better by the move. Let's throw this in first. Okay. Man. Alright, we're gonna do this for the fans. Not because it's the best move. Well, I guess I'm a fan in this case. Um... Um... Alright. If I'm not getting checkmated, I'm doing pretty well here. I didn't even need to play this bishop move. Like, I have... Their king is easily surrounded by my queen and rook and bishop and pawn, maybe even knight. They can't play knight f6. It's tricky to play knight f8. But I'm also grabbing material here. Oh, actually, with the material dropping and them being unable to take back with the rook, f7 becomes loose too. All right. All right, threatening f8 if they take. It's not just about the cheapo. It's that I'm also hoping I have an initiative at the tail end of this somewhere. I'll give you a pawn if we can play an endgame here. Alright, so I'm up 1 point because I have a rook and they have a knight. Normally that's not such a travesty or tragedy, but here I have the center, and there's plenty of squares my knight can jump to, and they can't stop me from jumping anywhere. Also, I control the open file. Also, the king is feeling a bit drafty. So, this is going to be way more fun for me than it's going to be for my opponent. Threatening knight e4, knight c5. On the other hand, there is pressure for me to perform here. Yeah. It's a double-edged sword. Dang it. I thought this was going to go without resistance. And they found resistance somehow. Hmm. Alright. So I do... 92 drops a pawn, so we're doing this. I don't like doubled pawns, but, you know, I do like having active pieces. If that means I have to have doubled pawns, then fine. We get doubled pawns. I'm not going to create 1,000 weaknesses just to prevent some artificial concept from showing up. Ideally, I'd have a knight on e6 and a rook on the 7th rank. That's not feasible. But if another file opens up, who knows what could happen. Alright, let's see some moves. Oh, incidentally, if the B pawn moves, I could take the A pawn. Um, yeah, the opponent could move the rook to defend this, but is that what the rook really wants to do? If they move the rook, do I play e4? If they take, I take. E4 looks somewhat interesting. Only because I just don't want to see knight e5. Um, e4. E4 probably loses a pawn, but let's do it anyway. Where we're going, we don't need pawns. Just kidding. No, but yeah, I'm not going to open up the e5 square voluntarily. Yeah, and actually that looks playable. Yeah, let's do this. Knight f6 happens, which covers their king, but this is fine. If this gets taken, then I get the b pawn. Okay, so knight e3 is their threat. Um, doesn't threaten much, though. Knight b4 is ugly. Alright, just stop knight b4. So d3 is the weakness in my position, but there's no way to hit it. So is it really a weakness? I can't get my knight on e7. Well, no, that wouldn't work anyway. e6 is possible, but slightly out of range. Guess I gotta play the boring move here. Okay, we're gonna get the rook the hell away from my king, so I can't lose them both at once. Um, I click, because I don't want to mouse slip that one. It'd be tragic to drop my rook to some mouse slip at this point. Um, that sure is attacking a pawn. Hmm. Knight is such an advantage in blitz games. Um, what'll it be? Left or right? Okay. Oh, fun. Would you look at that? Yep. Alright, fine. I messed up. Alright, well done. It's for mistakes like that. Yeah. So that's why you don't put the king and the rook together. The knight is such an advantage in blitz games. That was ridiculous. Well, shows I've got to work on my endgames. Um, should we look forward to the next game? Who might I get paired with, having done a Swiss Gambit? Oh, hey, look, it's Endgame 101 Mastery. Who'd have guessed? Who'd have guessed? I'm sure they're just delighted to see me. Okay. So, do you suppose... Nah. Let's put this knight somewhere useful. This looks fun. It's a pity we're never going to get into an endgame with this opponent. Because I'm sure they have many endgame secrets to share with us with a name like that. Here, if they play g6, I can take the h. Well, I get my knight trapped if I do that. But I get to create content, so maybe it's worth it. Um, who knows? This knight on a6 probably belongs somewhere else. Alright, you get to take my a-pawn. I messed up. Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe this is all going according to plan, and I'm just not aware of it. Um, fine, we'll exchange pieces. We'll get your knight active. We'll fix all the problems in this position. Although knight d4 looks kind of nice. But, yeah, overall, it feels like I could have aimed to get something different here. Um, how cooked am I if that happens? Well, let's see it happen. I think I'm okay. If not, it'll all be over soon. But yeah, I think bishop takes, I get to take this rook. And other stuff gets exchanged. If we go this way, I just move the knight. As if I want to. I guess I don't. Um, like, normally a knight, a rook, and a queen all over here would have some kind of decisive attack. Let's just play optimistically for once. Once is once too many. All right. Okay. On the bright side, we're seeing a position similar to that other game where, like, what if I just let the queen in? What happens? Well, now we'll have a chance to know. Um, yep. Hashtag this is fine. Do I really want to push this position? I've been pushing the whole game. Pushing's hard work. I can't win this, and I drew the last game, so I have no incentive to try to win this tournament score-wise. Well, this should be exciting. Oh, they have bishop takes pawn, but my queen covers h3. I accidentally covered, well, not that like here they can have time for it, but after king g7, I just accidentally have everything covered. It's kind of nice. If I grab the pawn, I don't know. I mean, if I don't grab the pawn, I'm screwed, so I should take it. But this is not a winning move. Well, on its own, it's not winning. Um, that's check. As the opponent, I would not have let this happen. It might be fine, but I would have just taken h2. Watch, I'm gonna blow another endgame where I'm up rook for a knight or rook for a bishop. Um, oh, they could still take c3. My move doesn't prevent them from taking c3. Just all I was trying to do with f4 here. Still don't have anything here. I thought I saw something, but it's just not there. Well, actually, I don't know. Hmm. This is such a shoddy endgame from both of us. I keep imagining tactics that aren't actually here. But if both players imagine a tactic is real, doesn't that make it real? Hmm. Back we go. Hey, look, I said I'd play until I'm out of the top 100. I'm still in the top 100, but I might get to retire soon. Chess is hard. I think by now we have some idea of why I find shogi so full of opportunity and chess so full of pain. Uh, it's a tough game. It's such a tough game. Somebody's got to play it. Hmm. Oh, is it this thing again? Wow. Hang on. Oh man, 20 years ago or something, I lost a game in a tournament this way. And we've got the same position on the board again. That's cool. Someday I'll learn how to play this game. Um, so, yeah, I think that's the end of my tournament career here. Interesting. Let's try this retreat. Sorry, I only have like one line of chat showing on screen, so I cannot see the entirety of this. But yeah, I'm assuming you're saying that chess is still fun despite like it being such a difficult game. Yeah, I could again tell my Rosen story of how I had the privilege at U.S. Amateur Team North. We played together. Rather, was I on board one or two? I don't remember. But yeah, I had a similar experience to that last endgame there, where just in time pressure, I did not come up with the right moves. Afterward, um, Stockfish had remarked that, yeah, you evaluate, Stockfish had an evaluation for the position that said this is a really, it was a winning position, a +5 or 9 or something, if I just find the right moves. But couldn't do it. And sometime not long after that, I realized, chess is more fun to teach and theorize about and write world champion software to compete and assist players than it is to just play. Chess is tough to play. It's more fun to talk about, celebrate together. Um, let's try this. I can only lose this game once, so might as well go out with a bang. Yeah. But, like, Blunder Perpetual up 2 pieces, your first ever OTB game. Ouch. That is brutal. Um, yeah, I played a lot online before I started playing real life tournaments. So by the time I started playing real life tournaments, I think my initial rating was like 1400 something. Um, one of my first tournaments was a local college event. And one of my opponents, uh, like it was round two of an evening, and the next round was the next day or something. And I had somehow got a slight advantage in a Rui Lopez opening, and my opponent informed me like their rating said they were a master and had or an expert. I don't remember which. And they had offered a draw in this equal position. And I'd come there to play. I didn't want no draw. Also, I wasn't sure that I believed my opponent, and this is the first time I had anything like that happen. So I was just super taken aback by, like, we kind of just started the game. What do you mean? Um, so I declined the offer. Not short or shortly thereafter, made some slight inaccuracy. Um, my position started getting pretty, I don't know, iffy. Well, no, I'd given away whatever slight advantage I'd had, and they still wanted to go, and I offered a draw, and they accepted it. So I think that's how I drew an expert in one of my first few tournaments. I was provisionally rated, so like for all they knew, I was extremely underrated and a big threat to their rating. But also, they maybe just had to go. So afterward, I still reflect on it a bit, and I think, yeah, it was probably a decent decision. It didn't hurt me to be able to go before it got too late, but also had me wondering, like, huh, this actually happens, these early draws for schedule convenience. Um, yeah, it's pretty cool that I was able to fight so well in such an early tournament. And unfortunate that I just have not improved much since then. Most of my improvement has come through chess club and teammates suggesting ideas and be gradually becoming more receptive to those suggestions over time. Whether it's, hey, this opponent we're about to play in our team match plays this system. If you want to have an okay position, feel free to try these ideas against them. My teammates were more into preparing for their opponent than I was. Um, so I was happy to take some of that kind of advice. Um, although often I would just play whatever I wanted, which got my teammates to suggest to me, hey, you know, there's this thing about openings and systems, and, if you were to just play one opening system instead of playing every opening on a whim, you'd probably get better results. My reaction was, yeah, but in the moment, I know what it is that I want to play. I know, like, this system looks fascinating. I want to try it out. Um, I see all these creative ideas. I'm like, gosh, I really want to explore this path. And sure, I've not studied it anywhere near as much as we need to, but it looks fun. I want to try playing this. I like getting confusing positions and having us try to figure it out together. And if I can confuse my opponent, we can have an interesting game. Um, so that was kind of my attitude for a very long time. And it got results. I studied endgames. Endgames were fun. A lot of chess games have an endgame. So if I can grind down any endgame where I have a material advantage, that's a big asset. Having said that here, I'm not winning this one. Um, If I can get my opponent to put all their pawns on light squares, maybe I'll have a winning chance. But until then, it's not happening. Um, uh, yeah, everybody's gotta get something they're good at. Um, that's it. Like, I don't know. I've been playing shogi much more than I've been playing chess. And although lately my shogi results have been lackluster, um, I'm just really surprised by this move because Rook A4 is not, it's not mate in one, but it sure is spooky. Um, hmm, I'm gonna resettle my king. But yeah, I think there's many excellent strategy games out there. I wouldn't necessarily recommend chess to most folks. Shogi looks interesting, but has a sharp learning curve too. I think the learning curve for Go is even sharper. Um, all right, they got the bishop where they wanted to put it. I'm not sure that's where they should have wanted to put it, but they wanted it to go there. They got it there. And now my bishop's free. And difficult to oppose. So this swinging around on the opponent's side of the board, they've got more threats to worry about. It's still not enough, but um, okay. Now I'm going to prevent bishop a4. It looks like I'm randomly shuffling, but I have some ideas here, believe it or not. Nah. I only lose this if I drop a piece, and gosh, that'd be quite a way to go. Oh, dang it. This is way sharper than I thought. Alright, fine. I studied the Encyclopedia of Chess Endgames, so I should have some winning chances here. A resignation. Oh, I could... Yeah, no, I can just take that and then king takes pawn next. Alright. Either way, I'm out of the top 100. I am free. Free at last, free at last. To everybody else participating, best of luck in this event, right? Um, yeah, it's a tough event, and as Europe wakes up and participates in this, it's gonna get even tougher. So, hopefully we enjoyed watching. Um, am I gonna study some of these games and see if I can learn some openings? Maybe. But yeah, it's good to see that FIDE was open to collaboration with Lichess. Lichess was open to collaboration with FIDE. That allowed us to bring this unrated international event that's promoted by both organizations. I see there are some prizes. Accommodation to the Samarkand Olympiad. Hmm. Not sure I'm going to be able to make it there, but somebody's going to win. It'll be good fun. It's good to celebrate. Um, yeah, we've got so many people interested in this fine game. Welcome. Just as I'm wrapping up, I get rated. Well, I'm not exactly in a position to continue playing, but we can enjoy watching. Should we do that for a bit? I see there's not a whole lot of people streaming this. No, that's fine. One of us had to be the first. Um, I don't have another raid target, so I see there's only like 2 people streaming it right now. The audience demands rated 1 minute chess. That might be difficult. I don't know if I could even move the pieces in 1 minute. Um, although when Lichess did introduce like ultra bullet chess, where you have 15 seconds for all the moves of the entire game, I played in that. I won a couple games and retired. Later, I played some more and lost it all, but that's a different story. Yeah. Yeah, audience doesn't know what they want. But yeah, this is a good fun event. Might hang around for a bit until I put everybody to sleep, but yeah, we're watching the number 1 and number 4 players face off here. Somebody having a professional title doesn't necessarily make them the world's best blitz player, but yeah, all FIDE masters are extremely strong. Not always at blitz, but just in general. So it's cool to see so many interested in this event. Um, yeah, I think I will publish this my participation as well as this post commentary, whatever we're doing. I might post this all to YouTube. So I guess it gives me more of an opportunity to rant and think about things. Um, I have been thinking like podcasts work best when it's more than one person in general. I guess there are some experts who have teams that work for them or with them to make that sort of event happen and be a great success. But I don't know. Like, I'm not exactly um, in a best position to collaborate with just about anybody because I have opinions about things. Opinions are somewhat strong and somewhat different than a lot of people. So that said, it's probably better if I start off with something, I don't know, something that relies on source materials that are in public domain that I'm free to comment about and gives me an easy target. So, being that I don't want to invest tons of effort in getting something like that off the ground, I prefer to start with some rather simple, easy material that's in the public domain. First thing that came to mind was like 4 or 5 years ago, I acquired a copy of Sun Tzu's The Art of War. I mean, yeah, you can get it digitally, but I think I found it in a bookstore too. I don't know where I put my copy of the book, but surely I can easily acquire a digital copy and not necessarily read through it live, but maybe take it a chapter at a time or something. It's not the hardest reading. War is not terribly subtle, at least in that era. These days, who knows? Yeah, I have been writing on my Lichess blog about After Virtue, which I have far greater thoughts and aspirations about, but also it's an extremely difficult read. And I just struggle heavily through it. Um, but I think if I start with something simple, I could get podcast off the ground and something that's of substance and not just my own substance. It's more interesting to talk about things that are common to many people. So, I've also been giving some thought to like what potentially to call such a podcast. Of course, things can change at any moment. A name is just a name, but seeing that there is a new podcast on the rise, and I listened to it, and it goes by the name Shogi in the West, that had me first thinking, well, I could do a pun on that and call it Shogi in the North. And, that seemed funny for the first so many minutes. I had a good chuckle about it. And I thought, well, is Shogi really going to be the ultimate focus of whatever it is I want to talk about? Not necessarily. There's only so much with that I can do on my own, and I have opinions about everything. So it's probably better to have something that's more universally appealing for a name. So then it occurred to me, well, a lot of people, a lot of explorers and people with ambition have have seen like a lot of value in understanding the night sky and using it to navigate by to help them travel the world. It's how we relate stories to one another. Um, and it's just a beautiful thing in general. And so something inspired by that sounds interesting. I do have a name in mind, but I haven't finalized it. But anything can change at any time anyway. So that's what I've been gently thinking about. Also, hypothetically, if I did want to do something nice and simple. Okay, yeah, Black's winning this. Black has a 2-on-1 majority on the queen side. Black's going to get an outside passed pawn. Even if Black wasn't up a pawn, which they are, This should still be winning, even if you give white an extra pawn on the king's side. Black's king can invade on the king's side as they promote on the queen's side. But black's up a pawn. This should be a cakewalk. I don't understand like why there's so much hesitation. Um, that all said, I think like bishop b1 perhaps would have been slightly more accurate because now the bishop is on d5 and it kind of collides with the other pieces. I guess bishop c4 is possible. Bishop f3 might be possible. This, sure, why not? a5, there it is. So yeah, black has to protect the b pawn, but the 2-on-1 queenside majority is inevitably going to be decisive. It's not a question of if, but when. Black might have some concern because they can't push b4, but white has far too many weaknesses. White can't hold this position. There's no way. It is nice to just commentate, though, and not have to actually play the game out. At another point I've been considering, Lichess's broadcast system is also quite wonderful. You can track live events from around the world and keep track of standings, and I don't know, there's descriptions of each event, where it's located. Often I think you could find links to the site that's promoting each event. But yeah, Lichess tournament organizers like to promote their tournaments, and Lichess likes to have people interested in chess and learning more about it. Oh my goodness. It appears I am mistaken, or I don't know what the hell's going on here. Guess they might draw? Or black's just shuffling for time, but that's, I don't get it. Or black's trying to be cautious, and in doing so, just complicating everything. I guess as long as they don't spoil the win, that's fine if they shuffle. So eventually they want to play, I guess, f5, f4 if they can, but they might not be able to do that. Yeah, white's king can't defend all this. There we go. Yeah, if pawn takes pawn, king takes. And white's king can't defend all the queenside squares. If they take it, they take if king d3 to try to stop this king from invading. Then b4 and bishop skewers the king and bishop. But yeah, otherwise these pawns collapse from behind. And the question is if white can exchange off enough pawns before black can take them all. White needs to try their best to get a passed pawn and exchange off as many pawns as they can. Black just needs to take some pawns. Okay, yeah, that'll do it. That's gotta hurt. White can't get a passed pawn, nor can they defend any of the kingside pawns. So that concludes this game. I had a friend relate to me once how they played an internationally rated tournament game and they watched their opponent just gradually take a pawn and a pawn and a piece over the course of the hours of the game. Just many, many hours of careful calculation. Because internationally rated games tend to be played at a really slow pace. Now, this is a more fun event. Um, let's see. I don't know who they're playing against. That looks scary. Let's start with this then. But yeah, being on being on the losing side of a position that goes for hours is just really brutal. Because there's often not much you can do once, um, I don't know. It's difficult to save a lost position. So h4, I think is, I think bishop d3 is fine. I thought h4 was more popular, but maybe it encouraged h5, g5. Whereas here, white gets to castle, and it's not so clear where white's attack is at. If they could open the f file, they'd like to, but I don't know. I don't think this is the main move. Yeah, white's playing a more patient approach here. There's rook c1. I was about to say I expect that. If it were me playing, after playing rook c1, I'd play bishop b1 and try to bring the queen out and mate on h7. It's just the fun child's play thing to do. Yeah, makes more sense to take squares and connect the rooks. Knight c5 is possible now that that bishop moved. The e-pawn, yeah. Black is under a ton of pressure here. Oh, there's nearly a 1,000 point rating gap here. So black is faster than white, apparently. It's not what I would expect. If there's one thing we hear far too much about in online chess commentary, and even real life chess commentary, it's who has more time on the clock. Um, it's not really the most relevant factor in most positions. Sometimes it is a huge deal, but yeah, white is going to play f4. White has taken the center by storm. Well, no, you don't have to play f4 now. Yeah, this exchange is just fine. White still has control of the center. I don't know if they want to open this. That is an interesting question. So, yeah, white's going to put their... Well, I was going to say on f2, the king has a safe haven. Black has burst the center open one turn too early. So now white can evacuate most of their pieces. I would have picked b1 rather than c2, but it might not make a big difference. d5 pawn is loose. Yep, there we target the d5 pawn. Then we take it. I would have taken it. I guess if pawn d4, bishop takes is fine. Rook takes f6 is available. I guess I missed that. Oh no. I was commenting about pawn d4 check. Um, but no, the tactics didn't favor pawn d4. This, I guess, is more effective. It's less flashy, maybe. If there had been rook takes f6, we'd just see king e7. But this way we don't have king e7. h7. h7 wins material. Unless there's a move that wins even more material. h7 seems like a very good way to go here. Fine. Yeah, this protects white's king. And that's that game. That was good fun. I think I've lulled most of us to sleep. Maybe we'll look at one more and then call it. I don't know. So I'm watching the TV for a top-rated player here. They do have a... Oh, that's interesting. My layout, I usually have a style that shows player flags, but I seem not to have that active at the moment. Yeah, so they're just on a massive winning streak. I guess here's our board one game at the moment between players ranked 2 and 3. So, not sure if there's other things people want to discuss. It's easier to discuss, I don't know, when there's materials to reference and such. I had been reading Seigo Sato's fourth file Rook strategy book for Shogi. It's a... Yeah, it presents positions in the form of puzzles, asks you, the reader, to attempt to solve the positions, and then provides solutions. And that seems like a healthy way to think about shogi. Alright, so like knight d takes c7, I think wins material here. Maybe there's ways to win more material, but yeah, knight takes pawn. Let's go. Let's go. There it is. Called it. Is there a way I can view this with the spectator room chat? Apparently not. It's strange. What if I go from here to view this? No. Interesting. Huh. Didn't know that worked that way. Guess now I know. So, yeah, this knight on c4. It's not defended by anything. It's defended, I guess, indirectly by tactics of, like, if you accidentally hang the queen and by moving this bishop, then, okay, that's no good. But otherwise, if you just don't hang the queen, then if rook takes knight, knight takes, king takes, and then queen takes c4, and black's losing material there. I think white's simplest reply is queen b4. Maybe there's something simpler. But yeah, being able to target the d6 square looks important. Sure, it'd be nice if white could throw in queen a7 mate here, but I don't think that's in the cards. Maybe there is some thought about queen b4, bishop takes b5, knight takes b5, and black trying to do some cheapo somehow. But yeah, this knight on g3 in the lower right corner is just not going very far. Yeah, it's way easier to commentate these games than to play them. Again, who knew? Um, and then again, I don't have to get my comments correct. It just has to be entertaining. White might be looking at if they can mate black somehow. I don't think that's available here. Um, yeah, maybe they didn't find a better move. Knight a5 stops the mate. Maybe moving the rook on c8 away also might work. That looks risky. White might be looking at pawn b4 here to try to bust the queen side back open. But the bishop f3 and rook d1 are both hanging. White might also be looking at rook d3, defending the bishop. Or yeah, run the bishop away, sure. That way the rook can stay on the back rank. Um, Black might play queen f2. Well, no. That tactic. White's queen is defending c2. Um, yeah, not sure what should black play here. Like, this doesn't win material, but it is probably the best square for the queen. And still now, like, knight takes pawn doesn't win anything. Ah, now knight takes pawn becomes a threat. That's interesting. Black could move the rook first, like rook h8. Or rook c5. Rook c5 walks into a fork. But no, the fork's easy to deal with. Okay, I missed this. Yeah, that's clearly the way to go. Um, is rook c2 possible here? That's not rook c2. I liked my move better. There's a nice skewer. Okay, black's gonna give some material. White's in time pressure. White's gonna have to be careful not to accidentally get mated. But yeah, whichever way this goes, I'm sure there will be more people spectating and commenting and playing this event. It's a 24-hour event. I don't know if I'll rejoin it at some later point. Maybe it'd be fun, but probably everybody will be doing it at that point. So we'll play it by ear. Black pushes the king side. Ah, yeah, if white can take either of those pawns, then black's going to have an extremely hard time pushing anything. Uh, okay, the g pawn is dropping. No! No, 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 no. I thought you had to, like, sack on b3 there. Um, this is adventurous, but I don't think it's good enough. Queen d3 mops up that pawn. Unless there's some tactical shot here. Queen d3 again. I guess maybe this? I don't know. Yeah, black's pieces are just not active enough here. And now black has the thankless task trying to draw. Admittedly, their opponent is a candidate master. Somebody who doesn't have the same rating as a FIDE master. But candidate masters are still quite good at endgames. any FIDE title was quite good. It indicates somebody who's gone to international competitions and at those competitions has performed well. And the better you perform, the better the title you get. So, okay, there's a fork. Um, so yeah, trying to defend this against a candidate master is perhaps an exercise in futility. Yeah, here black can't advance either pawn. Their best chance lies with setting some tricky stalemate trap somewhere, which seems unlikely to happen. Their second best chance is exchanging... well, never mind. I was going to say if they could exchange the knight for the rook and somehow trade off all the pawns, that would be enough. Or all but one. But it's impossible. Knight d7's forced. You have to play a passive move to cover a6, b6, c6. One can dream of active play with the knight, but if the knight separates from the king, it's not going to be able to do much. King b6 wins. This is probably good enough. Yeah, getting the rook to the 7th rank and then king b6. Okay. I mean, I guess black might have a cheapo. Yeah, okay, there we go. Knight d7. Problem with playing this, obviously, is it's passive. Oh, yeah, there you go. White takes the easy win. And then pawn b5. And Zugzwang's going to happen, and, Bob's your uncle. Pawn b6. Black gives up their... yeah, okay, there we go. So, yep. So far, there are 4,391 participants. Players are always welcome to join, up to the point where there's not time to do any more pairings. So, I'm curious if we can hit 10,000. We'll find out. Either way, thanks for watching. Have a good day.